Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to my next live stream, which is called How a Recent College Graduate Can Handle Their Emotions After Graduating College. Uh, Always want to start off with an introduction for those that do not know me. My name is Eric B. Horn, and I am a career and business strategist. I'm also the founder of Eric B. Horn Career and Business Solutions, which is a career and business development firm. On the career side, I focus on helping recent college graduates successfully transition from when they graduate into the professional world. And one of the unforeseen things that college graduates don't prepare themselves for is dealing with their overall emotions after graduating. And what do I mean by that? So for the past 3 to 4, 5, and maybe even longer, you as a college graduate has been on the overall grind, and you just been focusing on taking your classes, doing your homework, passing the test so you can actually graduate. So when you have that type of tunnel vision, you really don't have room for anything else, right? I mean, you go through a lot of emotions as a college graduate, whether it's stress, whether you're being tired, whether you have having the understanding that you will make it will make it and graduate, or on the other side of the coin, you have some people that feel that they are so stressed out they're never going to be able to graduate, right? So even in the midst of being in school, you endure a lot of emotions, but once you hit the pinnacle, meaning you actually graduate and you are free and you are out of school, even for a small amount of time, there is another wave of emotions that you have to deal with. And that emotions is adjusting back to the real world, going through the process of actually finding a job, dealing with overall rejection, even when you actually get a job, dealing with the emotion of trying to adapt to your new environment, right? So there's a lot of emotions, but most people just talk about the emotions that you deal with when it comes to actually while you are in school, which is only one level, because once you graduate, there's a whole nother slew of things that you have to endure. So what I'm going to do today is talk about specifically how overwhelmed postgraduates can deal with their emotions. And I have 5 topics, quick topics that I'll talk about, but hopefully these are some things. If you are going through these things, you can actually agree to them, even if you are not, have the understanding that you may endure this at some point while you're still transitioning from a graduate into the professional world. Okay. So the first thing would be when it comes to how a recent college graduate can handle their emotions after graduating is recognizing what the postgraduate emotions are. Okay. One of the huge emotions that I know that people go through is overall depression. And that depression comes in a situation where they cannot find employment, which is just one of the things that they would have to endure. However, understanding and knowing that you're going to have these mixed emotions is the best thing that you would want to attack after going through it. One of the four things that you have, one of the four emotions that a lot of people go through would be the emotion of excitement, thus you have graduated. The emotion of fear, be the fear of, are you going to get a job? Are you going to be able to pay your student loans? Things of that nature. Also, the emotion of relief, knowing that you actually received the job. And then the emotion of uncertainty, meaning after you have received your job, are you or will you be successful enough to actually make it as a professional? And 9 times out of 10, you will make it. You will endure certain challenges and other things, but you always have to have the understanding that if you surround yourself around the right people and you always have a mindset that you are going to win, you are. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy sailing. However, you have to understand that things will get difficult at certain times, but that just comes with the overall territory of actually graduating from college. Okay. So the second thing on how to deal with your postgraduate emotions is build a healthy routine. Now, little do people know while they're in college, they have developed the routine of actually getting up in the morning, a routine of actually going to class, and actually a routine of studying and doing all the other extracurricular things while you are in college. So if you've been doing that for the past 3 to 5 years, or maybe even longer, based off of what your major was, you're in an overall routine. And subconsciously, you're doing that over and over and over again till it gets to the point where it becomes second nature. However, once you graduate, once you take that tassel and take it, I can't forget if it's from the left to the right or the right to the left or whatever, but if you just throw the tassel up in the air, understand that your routine is going to be broken. So the best way to continue that overall routine, or just having the habit of being in a routine, is creating more routines. Now, these routines could be overall self-care. It can be with physical activities. If you were a very active person in college, still continue to do some of those activities. Just because you're not on campus doesn't necessarily mean that you still can't do these overall activities. And also make time for new goals and new activities. Those are routines also, because you still want to continue to move in the overall direction of being successful. Once again, most people fall into a bit of depression is because they've been used to doing something so long. They've been used to being told when the class is, what to read, what to study, what the test is going to be on, and then automatically after graduating that stops. So you've gone into a notion of doing something over and over and over again to you hitting a brick wall. So the best thing that you can do is continue or build new healthy routines. I kind of talked about this on the second one, but another thing that you can do is create post-graduation goals. There are so many people out there, for example, that they stopped reading books after they graduated from college because they were reading the books because they needed to understand the class, to get the good grades, to move to the next goal or milestone to actually graduate. However, you want to create more goals, whether the goal is one, to get a new job. 9 times out of 10, that is probably on every college graduate's top 10 list. However, what are the other 9 goals that you have? Whether it's to speak another language, or continue to build your overall network. It's just another consistent form of activity that you will need to do to keep those routines going. Do not just have an overall goal of graduating and then that's it, because a lot of people feel like once they stop going after their goals, or once they completed it and they don't know what's next, they fall into a still of depression, because they're going and they're moving in the right direction, but then once again they automatically stop. And the best way to keep that momentum going is creating post graduation goals. Hopefully you will want to move out your house. Maybe you want to move to another city. Hopefully another goal is to get a job overseas or continue to study abroad, but still have a list of goals that you can still pursue even after graduating. Okay. So the fourth thing, and this is what most college graduates miss, which I do not understand, is seeking additional support and advice once they graduate. Now, one of the biggest excuses that I hear recent college graduates say to me when I coach them is they don't have a group of individuals post graduation that can still support them and give them advice. And I call BS, because 2 people that you can actually start building relationships with while you are in school, and you can transition that out of school, is your alumni network, because every college, or most colleges, have an alumni network that you can actually go to their office and start building relationships with right now. I don't care if you're a freshman or you are a senior. Utilize the alumni network to not only build up your overall network for potential job leads, but also to gain a crew or a circle of trusted individuals that you can continue to reach out to and gain support after graduation. And the second group of individuals are your college professors. most people do not understand that your college professors are not just there to give you homework and grade your homework. They are professionals themselves, specifically in the area that they are teaching. So you need to take the time, go to their office hours. And 9 times out of 10, people do not go to the office hours of the professor. So you can reach out to them, set up a meeting with them, and continue to build relationships. So after you graduate, you will still have a group of individuals that will support you and give you the advice that you need after graduation. Because 9 times out of 10, if you are a college graduate and you don't get that overall support, you are dead in the water. And I don't want to be doom and gloom, but I see so many talented recent college graduates fail and go to an area of depression or just drift because they did not seek out professional counsel on campus. Once again, reaching out to the people in your alumni network and reaching out to your current and past college professors. Build relationships with them, and they will help guide you and still give you advice as you go on to your professional career. And the last but not least, how a recent college graduate can handle their emotions after graduating is embracing the change and being optimistic. The only constant is change. And you've been in a somewhat of a bubble. You've been in an education bubble for the last couple of years. So you have to understand, once you graduate, things will not be the same. In actuality, if they were going at a certain speed, you can almost guarantee that they will change at the drop of a hat. And instead of steering away from that, you want to dive in head first and embrace these changes. And not only embrace these changes with a high level of optimism so you can still continue to move in the right direction. Now, as you embrace these changes, I'm not saying things will be easy. 9 times out of 10, as you transition, it's going to be a certain pocket that's going to be very hard for you. But with anything in life, you adjusted from high school to college. So take that same initiative knowing that you will, take that same initiative knowing that you will transition from college to graduating. But once again, if you are running away from this, it's going to make the process that you need to go through as a transitioning college graduate to a professional, it's going to be a lot longer for you. So my advice for you is to dive head first with these overall changes, embrace them, learn from them, so you can continue to move in the right direction. And last but not least, I can understand as a college graduate, you will feel like you're drinking water from a fire hose. It will be very new to you. And in some instances, it could be a rude awakening. However, this is what you've been going to school for the past 4 to 5 years. Knowing that there will be changes, knowing that you are removed, going from the shelter of being in school and being at a university and being in the real world is a culture shock within itself. However, I would rather have you take these 5 tips on how to embrace the emotions that you will have as a recent college graduate and take these topics, learn from them, and continue to push forward. Is it a piece of cake? Not at all. However, I would rather have you be prideful. Well, excuse me, not the word prideful. I would rather have you be extremely confident knowing that you are moving forward in your career as opposed to being timid and shy and scared of what's awaiting you. I went through the process of trying to avoid some of these things, and it made my process a lot longer. I think that's another reason why during my first couple of years, I made tons of mistakes, and I want to empower recent college graduates to learn from my mistakes and to take on the challenge of finally being an adult and moving forward and moving in the process of what you wanted once you actually started college. You didn't start at college just to stay at college forever. You wanted to get a degree, thus get a job, and starting to move into the professional world. And doing that, how you will track your emotions or manage your emotions is one of the most important things that you can do to help you with that overall transition. Okay. Once again, guys, I want to thank you for your time here. If you had any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to put it in the chat. If you are looking at this replay, please put in the chat replay so I can give you an overall shout out. But do not shy away from the emotions that you are going to have as a recent college graduate. It is normal, but I would highly advise you to do not run away from these emotions. You want to address them. They will make you a better professional.